Hey guys, welcome back. So huge boost for Coach Randy Wardrum and the Super Falcons team as they continue to prep for the Olympic Games later this month. And there's been some new additions to this squad, with the latest arrivals now being the likes of Chinwendu Ezo, who has now joined the camp to make it a total 20 players who are in the camp training with Coach Randy Wardrum and his assistants. So the remaining players now that are still expected to come to the camp includes the likes of Oluwatosin Demehin and Chinonelo McLean. So these are the remaining two players that we are still expecting, and the report is that they are supposed to be available this weekend. For Randy Waldrum, and then for Oluwatosin Demehin, I talked about her in the last video, and it seems to be accreditation issue that's delaying her. And then for Chinonelum McLean's, I also talked about him and the fact that that she was going to travel back to Nigeria, get a visa, and then en route to Spain. But hopefully, this weekend we are going to see these players all turn up to present on the wardrobe with a full squad to actually train ahead of these Olympic Games. Again, the friendly match against Canada is still in place, so that one is going to happen next week, Wednesday, which is going to be on the 17th. And then after that one, they are going to make the trip to Paris on the 18th, which means they have one extra week to stay and familiarize themselves in Paris before the competition starts, and they have their first game against Brazil on the 25th. But leaving that gist, let me let you know that there have been some really interesting updates regarding some of our Nigerian Super Eagles players, particularly the ones that we saw that ran out of contract and the ones that we saw that we are looking for clubs, to sign them. And speaking of these players, the likes of Wilfred Ndidi has obviously now signed uh, an extended deal with Leicester City that's going to keep him at the club until the summer of 2027. You recall that we talked about Wilfred Ndidi and how he was a free agent, after he refused to sign that deal with Leicester City. But the young man obviously came back after scouring on exploring other options, seeing if he could actually sign for anyone. I talked about him in the last video that he obviously turned down the deal that was brought by Sevilla because of the salary range. He wasn't impressed by the 1.5 million pound euro salary that they offered him per year. But right now, Didi has gone back to Leicester City to sign that deal, obviously keeping him to the club as they seek to start their campaign again in the Premiership. So hopefully it's going to be a really swell ride for him. Of course, we know that in a certain Nigerian youngster also joined Leicester City, Caleb Okoli. So hopefully, indeed, it's going to help him to settle down very quickly at the club and also make him feel at home as being another Nigerian at the club. But we wish them all the best, in this coming campaign. And then let me let you know that Gabriel Osho has also now signed a deal with a certain French club. The young man signs a deal with AJ Auxerre, which is a French club who've just recently qualified into the French league from the relegation. So this deal is really shocking because no one saw it coming. We didn't see it coming, and it was just less than 48 hours after he actually announced on his Instagram that he had quit Luton Town as a free agent. So apparently, he already had this negotiation for this deal going down before he quit Luton Town. So immediately he quit Luton Town. Just a few hours after that one, he joined this club. Again, congratulations to the man. I doubt, personally, I doubt if this deal is a deal that's going to put him out there in the spotlight because we know that French league is one of the top leagues in Europe, but it's not exactly where the biggest spotlight is. For me, I was obviously expecting maybe a return back to the EPL. Of course, the last video We talked about the fact that there were some English Premier League club side that were interested in him. The likes of Spurs were one of those clubs. But the young man obviously decided that the best uh, club side for his development as a footballer is AJ Auxerre, and he's now signed the deal. Again, I don't know how this deal is going to work for his ambitions to play for Nigerian Super Eagles. Of course, he has not represented, so there's still a possibility also to represent for England. But the man obviously showed interest for Nigerian Super Eagles, and this club side is definitely going to be extra tough for him to perform, to show himself to the NFF for him to get a call up. But we wish him all the best, and of course, anything is possible in football. But moving on, there are some other interesting updates regarding some of our players, of course, who've now returned back to their club sides for the preseason. The likes of Ademola Lookman obviously returned to Bergamo, which is the headquarters of Atalanta, as the team set up for their training, ahead of of next season. Lookman, obviously, in the previous video, I talked about how he had returned to solo trainings, but now he has joined the team, and it was some delight from his teammates who obviously received him back into the team. Ademola Lookman was such a very, very brilliant figure for Atlanta. Of course, we know the whole story last season, how he single-handedly helped the club to their historic victory in the UEFA Europa League. And again, it's going to be definitely hard to keep him at Atlanta because of the huge demands coming in from different clubs, in the EPL, who want to snatch the man, and have him join their club. But whether he stays or leaves Atlanta is still left to be seen, and I'm sure we're going to find out about this in the coming weeks. But in the meantime, he has rejoined the Atlanta group as they prepare for their preseason. And then one other man that has also returned back to training with his club side is the likes of Victor Boniface. The man was obviously pictured with his teammates in Leverkusen as the team sets up their preseason training camp. Victor Boniface will obviously want to do better this season, and he will be hoping that injury will stay very, very far away from him, because that was what impeded him in the last season. Of course, we saw how brilliant he was, especially from the start of the season. But again, injury didn't allow him to get as much goals. But despite the fact, he also got some really fantastic stats, uh, because he scored in around 14 goals in the Bundesliga in just 23 appearances. And then the Europa League scored 5 goals in 8 appearances. He also had 8 assists in the Bundesliga, which is also fantastic. But the man is going to hope that this season is a season that comes with luck and grace and everything that he needs to, double his performances from last season. That's the update, guys. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and share the video. React to any of the stories that you like. Subscribe to the channel if you've not done so. Stay tuned for more updates.